Now we have done the serpentine exercise at a walk, and now it's time to do it at a canter. Don't be afraid to practice it at a canter. Again, it doesn't have to look real pretty. All you're trying to do is get the horse to understand that when you pick up on the reins, that you're going to change directions, and you're using the change of directions to get him to slow down. So as we practice it, again, it's going to feel real awkward. Don't worry about trying to have him change leads and stay on the correct lead. Don't worry about keeping him at the canter. If he breaks down to the trot and wants to change leads on his own, great. It just gives him a chance to practice that, and that's fine. What you're really mainly concerned about is that he doesn't speed up, and that eventually when we release him at the canter, that he stays nice and slow. Remember, we're trying to get him to do the canter on a loose rein. It takes some practice, but for the most part, you can accomplish it. And again, as the horse changes directions, the neat thing about the walk and the trot and the canter, at first, what's natural for a horse to do is when he turns to the right, that he leans to the right. And when he turns to the left, he leans to the left. Now, we really don't want him to do that. What we want him to do, actually what would feel perfect, is if you were sitting on a table and your legs were hanging over, that table would be perfectly flat. That's what we would want. That's what the saddle should feel like. As we're changing directions from left to right, then what we want this saddle to feel like is it's perfectly flat. And then later on in the training, we're actually going to want the front of the table, the lip of the table, to lift up, which is what the front of the saddle will do as the horse becomes better collected. So as we practice these exercises and we perfect them here in the arena, then the next thing to do is to go out. Now we're going to practice all of these exercises in as many different situations as we can possibly think of. From here, we would graduate up maybe to a pasture. And so we're working the horse in a pasture. Again, we'd be by ourselves, and we would work on speeding up, slowing down, changing directions, just as if we were here in the arena. And then from that, maybe add one or two horses around and having practice. And then see if you can't practice, find somebody to practice with, where you can speed up and slow down, and speed up and slow down, and kind of make it a drill team where you're playing and practicing and just kind of playing together, but you're actually teaching your horse speed up, slow down, and then add in a group of horses, if it's possible. Add in a group of horses where there's lots of distractions for your horse, but you stay focused on the exercise. Well, at that point, then, if we feel like we're safe in all those controlled environments, then the next thing to do would be to go out on the trail, preferably by ourselves, and then graduate up, to other horses, etc. Practice the same exercises. Now, the ground's not going to look perfect. You're going to have rocks on the ground, sticks on the ground, bushes, etc. But use those in your training, to help teach your horse to carry his feet better, not to stumble. Always do it in a safe manner. We're going to practice the same exercises in every type of trail situation that we can practice it in, whether it's going up or down hills, whether we're working on going down a narrow pathway. Remember, use a lot of the shoulder control, to slow your horse down. What we're going to use first is the hindquarters. That's our safety valve, right? If the horse just does not want to slow down, even at the canter, even if we were cantering him in here or on the trail, anywhere else, and he did not want to slow down, then we would go ahead, focus, on the hindquarters, bring the hindquarters around and say, you are going to slow down. That when I pick up on that rein, when I pick up on this rein, it means, change what you're doing with your body. So don't be afraid to practice these, at at a canter, and where you're asking your horse to go off a little bit, pick up the rein slow until pretty soon he gets better and better at working off, a softer and softer rein. Now, as we go out and practice on the trail or somewhere else, he's going to get heavy again. He's not going to respond the same as he did in the arena, not at first. But remember, we're not trying to get our horse to be perfect at first. We're trying to work him in all those different situations so that eventually he is perfect in all those situations.